And last week on CBC Sports Weekend, we watched as the Canadian team of Karen Coburn and Rosie McLennan won the gold medal in the women's event. But as you see, no Canadians made it through to the final in this men's competition, but it is an impressive international field in Quebec City today. Here are Switzerland's Michelle Boillet and Ludovic Martin. And together, Laurie, this pair won the silver medal at the last World Championships.
And they've added just a touch more difficulty to this year's routine. They're currently ranked 4th in the world rankings. Verbal cue is given, and off they go. Matching up nicely in their synchronization. 10 skills will complete a routine. Nice job.
Wonderful synchronization.
They had great height, especially over the first half of the routine. Maybe a little loss for synchronization at the end, but overall extremely strong. Now, there are many eyes on these athletes in the synchro competition. There are 3 panels of judges. One panel is looking for execution errors, like in their body position or possibly traveling over the trampoline. Another group of judges look at the synchronization, and a panel determines the degree of difficulty. All 3 scores are added together for the final score.
Silver medalist of the last World Championships, the judges taking their time.
Prior to the competition, the athletes turn in their competition cards, which state what they are going to do. The judges are looking and comparing and determining the degree of difficulty there.
Well, that score of 48.2 is a very strong score. So Michelle Boillet and Ludovic Martin of Switzerland, the early leaders. Americans Chris Estrada and Ryan Weston have been working together for the past couple of years, and they train out of the American Olympic Training Center. And Chris and Ryan did not qualify for the final of the last World Championships, but were very impressive in the qualifying round held here in Quebec City earlier in the week.
The athletes have 1 minute to begin the routine to gain the height and the timing. The U.S. has shown some great improvements at these World Championships and should continue to improve in this sport. They have hired Dmitry Polyarush as the national team coordinator. He's a former Belarusian great in the sport, and he certainly brings a lot of experience and knowledge to the Americans. Excellent routine.
Well, you notice all the people standing around the trampolines. They are not judges, they're actually spotters.
Each athlete is required to have a spotter who has control of a mat, and if there are any difficulties or problems, the spotter can throw the mat in for safety reasons. The Americans showed no problem here. You can see each skill is matching up in terms of their synchronization. Pretty good execution in body positions as well.
The score they're trying to beat is 48.20. Their score just 1/10 off of that recorded by the Swiss, so that will put the Americans into second place for the moment. Well, Australia's Scott Brown and Ben Wilden tasted success earlier this year. They won their very first World Cup event, and you want that kind of confidence, that kind of momentum heading into the World Championships.
And they will need it here. Each routine has gotten a little better in this final. It's been quite competitive. A little off time from the start. Showing great difficulty. Finishing with a Miller. Excellent routine.
The Australians known for their success in men's individual trampoline, but not in synchronized trampoline.
Australia's Jai Wallace won the silver medal in Sydney, but there's been no medal for Australia in the synchronized event. Now, if you take a look very closely at Ben's hair, he has a little bit of blue dye in there. He told me earlier that training was tough, a little rough before these World Championships, and he wanted to lighten things up a little bit. He headed to the hairdresser and asked them to spice things up, and he walked out of there with blue dye streaked in his hair. There it is.
Whatever it takes to win, and they are going to be happy with their score here in Quebec City. The score to beat, 48.20, and they've got it nearly a point and a half more than the Swiss, so that moves the Australians into first place. So it's the Australians with the lead with just a few teams left to go. We'll have more from Quebec City in a moment.